Welcome back to another Overwatch Coach Vod review. Today we're going to be Vod reviewing a bronze 1 Mercy player. And they write, bronze support climbing. Hi guys, I've recently been grinding a little to climb up from bronze 5 in support. And so far I've made it up to bronze 1 with many blood, sweat, and mostly tears as a solo queuer. I play mostly Mercy, Lucio, and Moira, and so far they've been working out for me, but the higher I climb, the more difficult I find that it is to pinpoint myself what I can try to keep in mind, work on to improve, that I'm not already trying to do. I'd really appreciate any comments from any one of my gameplay. And then they post 2 codes, so we're gonna grab the Samoa one because it was the first one. Okay, I'm not gonna, let's see. In the Samoa code, I felt I did better in the second round. Some of this is about their other replay codes, so I'm skipping over it, and I'm also trying to skip over any spoilage. I feel like I do a great amount of healing and a decent balance between healing and other utilities, and I think I do a good job at keeping my team up since I can't usually stick to 1 DPS. The damage boost, since I can't really depend on the other support to keep the tank up most times, and I have a hard time resisting that risky res. Okay, so let's let's get into this game here. So this is our Mercy player. So you've got Moira. Moira will be pocketing the tank, hopefully. And then, honestly, you're going to be primarily focusing on Cassidy, maybe, peeling for the Junkrat as needed. Hopefully the Junkrat is staying relatively in range to the Reinhardt, so maybe the Moira can kind of keep both of them up and you can pocket the Cassidy. Obviously, peel as needed to the Moira. That's one of my pet peeves as a support, is seeing other supports not paying any attention to the other support, so make sure Moira gets the peels. Excuse me. But yeah, other than that, just, it's really going to be sticking to the Cassidy. Obviously, if Junkrat swaps, then maybe that changes a little bit. But for now, that's what I'm going to be looking for mostly out of you. Now, what could make that assessment change would be as if the Moira is off doing DPS flanking Moira and not healing the team. That'll leave the whole team in a rough spot here, but let's see what we get.
5,
Someone
4,
call the ambulance.
3, 2, 1. Round 1. Capture the objective.
Oh, so we're already swapping to Junker Queen. Doesn't really change anything in terms of the Moira still healing the Junker Queen, but Junker Queen is a little bit more advantageous to getting a Mercy pocket if it matches up well against the enemy team. I would say this does not match up well against the other enemy team, and they'd have been better off staying Reinhardt. Obviously, they don't know that yet, but yeah, in certain team comps, pocketing Junker Queen with Mercy could be the way to go. I would not suggest that here, though.
Everybody holds. I am empowering.
If you do get a DPS Moira, pocketing the Moira could maybe be a thing too. Damage boost when she throws an orb. So the one thing I'll say here is, coming out of the gate, you might keep the blue beam on Moira until she throws that damage orb off, and then go to your Cassidy. That way you're getting that extra damage boost off of the Moira. Moira's getting a little bit more value. But the Junkrat got ahead of everybody and needs help, so let's see what you're able to do here. So you're staying too far back. Where I would be looking for you to be would be like probably in here. You could be in here too. Like over in this area would be fine. Like either side of this would be better. Just that way, whoever needs the healing, whoever needs the damage boosting, you've got a good line of sight on them. You've got a place to fall back if you need to. You can go this way. You are a little bit more prone to being flanked over here. So, see, I play a lot of Lucio, so I kind of like wall riding around up here and stuff like that. You could do that with Mercy, like floating around and whatever. But yeah, otherwise, I would say on second thought, probably standing more in this vicinity would probably be like more of the play. I feel like you're a little too far back, playing a little too passively. And because of that, you're pocketing the wrong DPS here. I mean, unless this Junkrat just absolutely pops off, probably not getting a ton of blue beam value there. You're leaving it on the yellow beam a little too long. Granted, now he needs healing, but if we grind it just a little bit. No, it was a little before that, but a little before that, you could have had like blue beam on him. You could be flicking between the two a little bit quicker. Just, you know, quick rapid mouse taps to try to time it when he takes his shot, and then quick go back to healing, then time it to when he takes his shot. You could be kind of just going between the two a little bit quicker. Okay, good. You got the damage boost on the fire strike. Now, if you're in mic comms, I would be yelling for the Cassidy to get back over here. If you're not, spam group up a bit. Hopefully they get the message. So, okay, one, you have no reason not to see that trap. Like, you gotta see that. That you don't have anything coming at you at the moment. You're probably just really hyper focused on that health bar maybe or something, but you gotta pay attention to this. So getting stuck in that trap is not good. The other thing is that your Reinhardt is like feeding his shield to the enemy team to just melt it. So okay, good. You're finally in the air. You should try to stay in the air as much as possible, or even get up into that high ground spot might be good. Only thing you'd have to really worry about is Bastion, but yeah, so like the thing I'm noticing here is you keep getting stuck on the Junkrat as opposed to the Cassidy.
Heroes never die.
I would be damage boosting at this point. Yeah, you're heal botting way too much. This should... as soon as Ryan is at, like, right here, and Moira's with him, just blue beam. And that might even be... honestly, that might even be a little too much, frankly. But if he... especially if he has shield, but... you know, once he's got some armor, I would just be blue beaming, unless one of your DPS or the Moira's like really low for some reason, but they're not. So this should be blue beam, and it should have been blue beam a lot sooner than when I stopped it, but this is just where I'm going to stop it to point that out. But yeah, you're heal botting and getting no real value out of it. Like, there's not a lot of damage being taken here. You're probably looking at this and saying, well, my team's at full health, I'm doing my job. No, you have to be doing damage too. So you either could be blue beaming to damage boost your team, or pull out the pistol and get a few shots off yourself. There might be somebody worth diving. I don't really see anybody too susceptible to diving here other than maybe Junkrat, but in terms of a bronze player, you should be blue beaming a lot more. When you get more comfortable shooting Mercy's pistol, you might look for, in a situation like this where everybody's kind of like not really pushing up, but they're taking the point, you could, and as a Mercy, as you're still in your ult, you know, quick zoom up to where the Reinhardt is, pull out the pistol, and start focusing down the Junkrat. Junkrat's going to have trouble hitting you if you keep just enough distance away from him. You know, I'm not saying get straight into his face, but he could be pickable.
Enhancing your strength.
Heal your Cassidy. Heal your Cassidy. DPS your Cassidy, damage boost your Cassidy. Yeah, so you're pocketing the wrong DPS is ultimately what's going on here.
Surrender to my will.
No. Damage boost the Moira as they're ulting. Damage boost the Cassidy. Only secondary damage boosts the Junkrat when nobody else is really getting into a fight with anybody. Then that's when you can throw out, you know, or if you notice the Junkrat's in a fight and you can go help them. But as a Mercy player, you should be pocketing hit scans above anything else. And your Cassidy needs healing. And Moira got him.
Thanks for looking out for me.
Try to get into the air a little bit more here. Like, everybody's really close together, but you do have some space to maybe shoot to the Cassidy and fly up into the air. It would either be that, or you should be looking to get out from here as soon as everything starts to kind of clump up. You don't want to be on the ground clumped up around everybody, and then you're getting shot from all sides as a Mercy. You want to be taking more cover, taking more of a safe route here. So I mean, you could just be backing up here. This might just be maybe you're not totally knowing the map yet, but you could have maybe fell back to like right here. Otherwise, if you shoot to the Cassidy and shoot up into the air, this might be a spot where you could kind of like land up here. I'm not saying stay up here, but it might get you out of the Junkrat's bombs. And then you can kind of go from there on exactly where you want to go. You could just kind of flutter down here and then ultimately wind up back to this first spot where all you would have had to have done is just backed up initially anyway. But the point being is that you're not aware of your surroundings enough. And the Junkrat, this is the Junkrat. Let's see what he sees for a second. Which number is he? Right there. So see how you're just sitting there in his line of sight. And he's just able to bomb you. And you're not going anywhere, so you're basically a sitting duck. I think you could res that. I think. Yep. Good.
Need some assistance?
So again, if the Moira is alive and with you guys, once the Rhine is at about somewhere in the ballpark of 50 to 70%, start refocusing on the DPS again. Now, if the Moira is dead, or if she doesn't have her juice, or, you know, they're not really focused on healing as much, then maybe that changes what I'm telling you. But generally speaking, once the Rhine's at about that 50, 60% area, he should be okay enough for you to peel back off to the DPS and let the DPS maybe help the Rhine make some space, get a pick, something like that. Because the one thing I will say is when you're playing Rhine with Mercy, you're going to have a bit of a damage problem, because Rhine, you know, if you're playing with a really hyper aggressive Rhine that's just WWWW, you know, just pushing in always, maybe what I'm telling you, it won't be the case, but not every Rhine plays like that. So Rhine, like a moderate to passive Reinhardt doesn't do a lot of damage. Mercies that aren't damage boosting don't do a lot of damage. They're usually just mitigating the incoming damage coming in, i.e. heal botting. So that's where the boosting of the DPS kind of comes into play a little bit more, you know, and usually that comes with the form of the Cassidy here, not the Junkrat. And you don't have this res because you've already used it, so at this point it's get out. Okay, now you have a Pharah to... Okay, so obviously now you're going to be looking at going to the Pharah, not the Cassidy. So let's see how you do just staying in the air here. Okay, so you just popped ult. I stopped it at the perfect time. Your Cassidy just swapped to Junkrat, but your Cassidy, this was the Cassidy, now he's Junkrat. He just died and just now respawned. So that means he's way back there. So now we're committing ultimates on a 4v5 push. You guys should be waiting for him to come back and move in as a team of 5 as opposed to a team of 4 with a staggered 5th. And you should be damage boosting. There's no damage here at the moment. Nothing. Damage boost. You're stuck on healing beam. You should be damage boosting pretty much this entire time. I don't know why you're not trying to res the Pharah. You should have tried to res Pharah there, but your movement, like, okay, the Orisa killed you, so let's watch your movement from the Orisa's point of view.
I'm on fire! Is Ify watching?
See how easy it is to hit you? Like, when you were flying around, you were doing pretty good, but once you're on the ground, you're extremely easy to predict, like, where you're gonna be. So practicing Mercy's movements would definitely be advantageous, and then trying to take advantage of certain spots on the map. So, like, for example, you can stand up here. Oh my, like right up in that area. You know, it's all over the point, but these areas up here you can stand on. So, like, as you're flying, go up into the air, you know, and then you can kind of use that to stay up higher longer, is basically what I'm trying to get at.
Oath, Doctor. Ring any bells?
Alright, let's see what we got now. So now we got Sombra, Junkrat, okay, here I would say Mercy doesn't even fit this team comp. Honestly, there's really nothing to pocket here. Heroes you could be playing instead of Mercy. You said you played a couple others. You said you played Lucio and Moira. So, yeah, Moira obviously is taken, so you can't Moira. Lucio wouldn't be necessarily a bad pick. I would probably have come out. I mean, granted, I'm a Lucio main, so if you want a Lucio VOD review in the future, feel free to hit me a note on that email down below, and we could do a Lucio VOD review in the future. But Lucio wouldn't be bad here, frankly. I don't know if you're a Lucio player. I don't know why you wouldn't go Lucio here. The reason I say that, let me just go into the reason why. Zarya for Grav. You could potentially boot Bob off of point or put him in a rough predicament that maybe he doesn't have the greatest line of sight once you move him. Another thing to beat drop could potentially be Kiriko's ultimate, potentially Moira's ultimate. Some of those are situational depending on when they pop their ults and, you know, what's exactly going on. But I see value in Lucio here. I don't see a lot of value in Mercy here, though. So there's a trap right there. That could be pinged. Just to bring attention to it so nobody walks into it. So see how it takes both supports to keep your tank alive, and now your DPS are dying to, like, really dumb stuff that they shouldn't be dying to. Like, that Sombra should have been healed through that and wasn't. Because you're too hyper-focused on your tank and healing your tank. Your DPS aren't being healed enough. Now, with that being said, your tank's not doing much to make that easier. But, like, see, this is where having a support that does some damage comes into play, and I'll right there. You're telling me if you're Lucio, you can't headshot that Moira and finish a half HP Moira off right there, and suddenly now they're down a support? And then on top of that, their Kiriko's low, so as you're coming out of here, you're going to see Kiriko low, and then you go dive her, and suddenly now they don't have any supports. That's the kind of value a Lucio would bring to you right here. But instead we're not even heal botting, we're just, okay, now we are. But your team has a damage discrepancy here that's not being made up. And you're not blue beaming enough to kind of make it up on your own anyway. There's still a fight going on here and you're not on anybody. Okay, now it would be a... See, so, okay. Now, after the Moira is dead, now it would be get everybody out and regroup and then go back in as 5 again. But that's not what's going to happen here because it's a bronze game. So what's going to happen is your tank just got back from spawn. Now he's going to fight. Your DPS are both low, but you're way off in Narnia doing nothing. And they're eventually going to die right as your tank comes into the fight. And then they're all going to gang up on him and kill him. And suddenly everything just becomes a giant stagger. Overwatch is about going in as a group and pushing in together, and all that Rez did was stagger the Moira and help stagger your tank. Your DPS are both dead. This is not a winnable fight. It's 4 versus 3. So unless this tank really pops off, and I don't know how he would because the enemy tank's got both supports, and he has a DPS, and considering both supports are there, they'll probably heal the Junkrat so he doesn't die. But even if he does, your tank just melted. And now it's going to take the Moira longer to get with the team. It's going to take you longer to get with the team unless you can get out.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Take a look. Supplying damage increase.
And that Junkrat tire, not a fan of it, because everybody on the enemy team is able to focus that tire down the second they see it. Junkrat tire should be used when the fight's already happening and there's just chaos going on. And then everybody will lose track of where the tire is and suddenly it lands in a group of people and they're dead. I know that's not you playing, but I'm just saying. Junkrat's doing pretty good. So yeah, where you're standing is not good. Okay, good.
Now this is ethical. Heroes never die. For a purpose. Do something.
That's a good move by the Rhine. You have res. Get res off. Get res off. Get a res off. I think you could res Moira. You're heal botting the tank, your Sombra needs health, and then I think you could have gotten that res off.
I could use some assistance. Be resplendent. TNT activated.
So as you were flying to the Reinhardt, I think you could have got some healing off to your Junkrat before you locked in on your Reinhardt. You should be healing and damage boosting your Moira there. But it's a lost fight, I think. Oh wait, Moira's getting picks. Well, this must not be a lost fight because we got a bunch of time left here. Oh, Ryan gets a shatter, gets a couple kills. Oh.
My scale, come here and I will heal you.
This point is ours. She must not advance.
Right by you. What's up? Heroes never die.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can res that. Heal your DPS. Why do you not heal the Pharah? And you're also not really paying any attention to Pharah. Pharah is who you should be pocketing here. Get on the Pharah. Get on the Pharah. I don't know why you're diving in either. You should stay up there. But also heal your Pharah. And damage boost your Pharah. Okay, now Junkrat, but...
Not to worry, I'll catch you up. You'll be fine now. So, for all the veils, I will not waste this opportunity. Checking in. Amplifying your power.
Огонь по готовности!
I'm at the height of my performance.
Surrender to my will. Rocket barrage incoming!
Okay, so one thing, I know I've been harping on you blue beaming and not doing it enough. There's the one time I actually would have kept your healing beam on the Pharah instead of the damage boost, and the only reason I say that is because Pharah is such a sitting duck when she's ulting. She so often dies, so the longer you can keep that ultimate going, probably the better it'll be. So... when you've got a ulting Pharah, you can start on blue beam, but the second you start noticing people are refocusing on the Pharah and shooting her as she's a sitting duck, just try to mitigate as much of that damage as you can.
I'm here to support. My duty is being done. Excellent teamwork. Feeling more powerful?
Okay, so normally speaking, what I'm used to in games is your team would move up into this room here now and start poking at the enemy team. So if they do that, find a safe spot, probably just kind of sit back a little bit and just blue beam like somewhere around here. Could maybe be back here or, you know, even like back here, depending on where they, you know, position themselves to be. But that's what I would be used to. I don't know if your team's going to do that or not in a bronze game. Doesn't look like they are.
You call it?
But as you start to climb, that would be the norm.
I'll have you in top condition.
Heroes never die. Ladies and gentlemen, do something!
So again, I mean, you know, like I'm not gonna keep harping on the same stuff, but you should be alternating between yellow and blue beams here. You're just stuck on one, and you're just heal botting, is essentially, you know. But that ultimate too, alternate between the two. It's fine to toggle between both of them. Try to get, you know, a little bit of each going.
Take care of each other out there.
Soldier 76 reporting for duty.
And I would even say as you're playing these games, oh, they have a lever. They're down to 4. I was gonna say too though, start giving yourself challenges for how much damage mitigation you can get on wins. You should be getting over 1,000. I'm betting right now you probably get half of that, if even that much, and probably think that's a lot. That's just a guess. I don't know if you actually think that or not, but I'm thinking you're thinking that. But you should be going for a bare minimum of 1,000 per game, unless the game goes really quick. But in a game like this, where it's going 3 rounds, easily you should be getting 1,000. I would doubt that you got 1,000 in this game in total, unless you really pop off on blue beam this round. And the fact that they're down a person I don't know how much I want to really focus on this round just because a 5v4 should be a really easy game for you guys.
Activating healing stream. Boosting your damage.
Unless the other one comes back and turns the tide, so to speak.
Hello there. Right by you.
Heyo.
Supplying damage increase. Hello.
Objective is under attack. Get on it.
See, Doctor? No side effects.
Yeah, your tank's gonna be in a little bit of a rough spot here.
It's not done.
So the only problem I have... Oh, okay, good. I was about to say, the only problem I was going to have here is this Reinhardt's really feeding off of being able to get right in your Zarya's grill, but luckily he died as he was trying to ult, so works out, I guess.
Monstering you.
Hi.
Физкульт, привет.
¿Qué onda?
Greetings.
Hello. You have my
Heyo.
no darkness.
Damage boost. Damage boost.
Come here for healing. Be uplifted.
All of that should be damage boost, and you didn't get out of the way of that. You just stood there waiting to die.
Heat on.
The wonders of modern medicine. Come here and I will heal.
I really wish Blizzard could come up with something for levers in competitive games. Every time I put my brain to it, I can't think of something that a group of people would do and not take advantage of it in some way. And I think that's ultimately the fear that ruins this.
Right, same.
But yeah, okay, that was a nothing round. So yeah, number one is, and this is a big one, is blue beam. You're not damage boosting nearly enough. Mercy's movement, I feel like you could be better at that, especially if you're going to be kind of one-tricking Mercy. I think they made a Mercy challenge thing in the hero progression area, did they not? So you could use that as a tool for learning her movement a little bit. The other thing I would suggest is maybe watch some Mercy streamers. I'm sure they're out there. I don't watch any of them, so I don't have any to suggest to you. But your movement felt very amateurish, and it fits your rank. And I don't say that to be insulting, it's just the truth. So if you're really going to be looking at climbing and climbing while playing Mercy, you've got to learn her movement better. And I'm probably not even going to be the best person. I can tell you that your movement is amateurish, but I'm not going to be the greatest to tell you on how to improve on that, because Mercy's my least played support. So I can tell you to definitely, you're going to want to try to stay in the air more, fly around, you know, that kind of a thing. But in terms of how to do that, probably not going to be your best teacher. I know you said you play Lucio. Lucio's my main, so I'd be a great teacher for Lucio for you. But I can tell you just from what I've seen, though, your movement needs work. So just to point you down that path, and you can do your own research and find your own, you know, areas of how to improve upon that. But that would be my first two suggestions. Get better at that Mercy challenge with the heroes where you're collecting the coins and, you know, healing the bots and whatever. That would probably be a good educational thing, just to maybe up your skill level a little bit. And then just maybe find some Mercy streamers and, you know, pick their brains in between games. Take your own notes on how they're moving around, flying around, stuff like that. I would say anything diamond or above would definitely be a good streamer to educate you more on how to move as Mercy. I'd say anything above there, you know, anything in that range from Diamond to GM would probably be heads and tails above what you're doing on movement. And then last but not least, I'm going to just say TC for team comp. I don't really think you needed to go Mercy in this game. Round 1, I think, was probably, in terms of your team comp, your best bet for playing Mercy. When they ended up going far, then it kind of started to be a little bit more of a valid pick again. But I think in round 2, you could have maybe gotten a little bit more value off of another hero entirely, maybe even in round 1. But the Mercy was fine in round 1. I think you could have gotten a little bit more value in round 2, just on your own gameplay, even though you guys won the round. And then round 3 was a wash because they had a lever, and it kind of was just a nothing round. So I'd say these 3 things mostly. There was a few other things, like I think you could have maybe fed a res off here and there, but I'd say these are your 3 biggest things to work on. So hopefully that was helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.